Hi. If you've ever wondered what the difference is between an aging in place community, an accessible community, or what on earth universal design is, we're going to look into that here and try and explain in a little bit of a primer what it's like to when you're going to begin to create an age in place community. Now, aging in place is a really simple concept that's really difficult to achieve, because what it is the ability for people to buy a home and then be in it for the rest of their lives if they so choose. So that takes some consideration in how you design it, what sorts of things you put in, because we all change as we go through our lives. So if you assume that someone's going to move into your neighborhood and they're buying a 3-bedroom home, okay, because they have 2 kids and themselves, a boy and a girl, and themselves, mom and dad. Okay, they probably have a dog, maybe a cat, a couple of guinea pigs, it depends. All right, so they come in, and in your standard dwelling, you're going to end up having more than likely staircases in one form or another, maybe small ones, maybe, depending on if it's a back split or whatever. Okay, you're going to have a standard kitchen with kitchen cupboards above and below, right? And a spot for a fridge, but it's normally a full-size fridge, okay? Because this is a family home, and that's fine. What happens if you become disabled? These are the things that you take into consideration when you're using an age in place theory in order to build a community. Okay, so you also want to give people the option of not having to go into a nursing home or assisted living or any of those things, because their home is designed to adapt to them. Now, universal design. You have to think of universal design as this all-encompassing, we're going to make this particular residence, public building, whatever it happens to be, but in this case a residence, as accessible as is possible for every age and every ability. So any of the things that we can do. So we're going to adjust counter heights to be an average that will accept shorter people and taller people. Most buildings that we currently have, most homes that we currently have a standard height for a counter, and it doesn't matter what it is. So if you are shorter, you know the feeling of being there and going like this in order to start chopping things, or when you have to go like this or have a step ladder in order to reach the cupboard that I still haven't figured out why they put it there, the one over top of the fridge, and be able to put things up in there. And in mine, there are things that we don't use very often. There's a petit four tray and things like that, stuff that we very rarely use. And you're also taking into account in universal design how the rooms work together. So perhaps instead of having a galley kitchen leading into a living room, which comes off of a foyer, you have an open space. Okay, what do they call them? The grand rooms now. And that is your entry from your front door into your house, where you're going to have your kitchen over to one side, but not blocked off by a wall by any means, and your living room and dining space all in another, so it all flows together as one big space. Another thing, I seem to always talk about bathrooms, no matter what I'm discussing. However, in universal design, this is another thing that you need to think about. You need to have a well-appointed bathroom, one that will suffice people who want baths, but also can take showers, right? If you need to have a zero clearance walk-in shower, that would be amazing. Something with a bench in it, something with easy transfer. When you have your sink, you need to be able to have, and it's easy enough to do design-wise, to have that space cut in so that a chair of any type can be pulled up into it, so that it makes it easier to wash hair if somebody needs their hair done and they can't stand and have it done in the shower or anywhere else. They can sit by the sink in the bathroom, lean back, and have it done that way. These are all things that a bathroom should be. Your bathroom should be private and accessible and comforting and feel like just a little bit of luxury when you're in there. And that should also be something to consider for your bedrooms. Size-wise, they should be comfortable to be able to get in and out of, regardless of whether you need a mobility aid or you have a vision issue, anything like that, or even just as you get older and you're usually carrying something and then wondering why you came into the room in the first place and having to stop for a minute and look around and see what's going on. And it's easier if the space is open and you're able to turn easily and see everything that's in the room than it is if the room is made with all little cubbies and holes and stuff in it. So that's why you think about how the space is used in a bedroom as well. Are you going to have bunk beds in there? Are you going to put in a regular size bed? Is it going to, when the time comes for the kids to leave for college, is it going to become a spare bedroom where you're going to have maybe the ability to have it as an office as well, or are you going to use it as an exercise room? What are you going to do? These are things, everything should be multifunctional when you're thinking universal design. Continuing with that thought, outside of your home, what do you like to do? Do you want a big yard so that you can go out and play badminton or table tennis? Do you want to have a pool? Do you want do you garden? What sorts of things do you like to do? And what are some dreams that you have for the future of what you would like to take up once the kids aren't there, once you're all set up and done? How much room does your dog need to go run around? Is your cat going to have a catio? All of these kinds of things. How much time can you actually devote to it? What do you want your driveway to be like so that the entryway to your home? Universal design. Those are the things to consider there. Now, universal design also considers, as does aging in place, the community and its design. You don't just want to go and plunk a universally designed age in place home that's absolutely wonderful, but you can't go anywhere. So you need to look at, when it's being designed, how are the walkways going to work? Are they going to be cobbled? Are there going to be some asphalt or concrete or interlocking paving? What's going to happen there? Are you going to have some hard-packed dirt trails? Plantings, trees, all sorts of things. What sorts of stores? Where is the public transit going to go? As far as the residences are concerned, and how are people going to get back and forth? Is there going to be handy lift available, or are the buses going to be all accessible? These are, again, all universal and age in place considerations. The way that accessible design differs from age in place or universal design, and universal design really is the main one, is that accessible design is geared towards adherence to the AODA, right? So the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, which is also governed by the Ontario Building Code. So both of those work together. These are codes, I guess we'll call them, laws, regulations that determine how best to accommodate persons with disabilities. So this is where people with disabilities take center stage. We're talking about ramps and signs with braille or tactile carving onto them. We're talking even picture signs and using colors that are not difficult for people who are colorblind to see, and taking into consideration that there are some people who, because of dyslexia and other disorders, cannot read. We also have to consider the deaf community when we're looking at accessible design as well. Right? They get short shrift an awful lot of the time because everybody says, well, you can't hear, but you can reach, you can go, you can do. Well, yes, okay, that may be fine and well, but there are things like hearing somebody knock on your door or ring the doorbell, hearing your phone ring. And those are all things that would come into play within accessible design. And then you take that further and throw it into universal design, because as we age, we tend to lose our hearing. It would be extremely beneficial. Okay. And then you go into aging in place. You don't have to go anywhere unless you want to. So accessible design and universal design really are like dance partners, and think of them as Latin dance partners, because accessible design has very well defined regulations in order to make it the most accommodating that it can be for people with disabilities. Universal design takes a broader viewpoint. So if in Latin dancing you had accessible design would be the man. Okay, and I'm thinking paso doble. Okay, so in the black suit with the heel, and very, very commanding. And the woman would be universal design in a flowing ruffled dress and being the one that tempts and pushes and makes the man accede to her wishes. Works for me. Thank you very much for joining me for this part one of what it is to build an age in place community. I hope you at least learned a couple of things that you didn't know before. I also hope I haven't rocked too much. I haven't been feeling the absolute best, and it does me good. It's a self-soothing thing when I rock. And I hope to see you again in the next one, and I promise it won't be as long between videos this time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.